Hello, I am Chelsea Lawlor. I have been a real estate agent since 2011. I was 19 when I got into this business. So currently, when I'm taking this video, it's been 13 years. And in those 13 years, I've now been at 5 different brokerages, which I'm currently at eXp. I've been at eXp for just over a year now, and I really wanted to share the 3 main reasons that I switched because although that sounds like a lot of switches, it didn't feel like it throughout those 13 years. And every time I made a change, there was always a very calculated business decision around it. I don't think most of them were never like, oh, this brokerage sucks, I got to go over here. That happened once. But all the other times, there were very strategic business moves to kind of get me to the next level of where I was working towards. So I'm going to get into those 3 reasons. The first reason, I guess, is the pay structure and how I can cap my commissions, but also earn that back in stock. So my last brokerage that I was at, I did cap, I did have a capping system. That's the reason I went there, because I was able to start a team because of the money I was saving, not paying into a brokerage without a cap. I was able to get my own office, and I love being in a good environment. That was very important to me. That was a big goal. So that was the reason for my switch before this one. But then when I realized I was going to actually earn the money I had paid into a brokerage in my commission splits back every year, that part was a no-brainer. That's called icon status. So my first year came over, got my icon status. That means that you paid to get your cap, so you cap out at $80,000 each year. And then in order to get your icon status, you have to do close 20 transactions after you cap. And then you get up to $16,000 back in stock. The stock has to be in there for 3 years before you can take it out, or you can let it stay in there and grow. So number 1, that was awesome. No-brainer for me. But I don't normally just make a change simply over a commission split when I already had something that was pretty okay in my last brokerage. So number 2 is what really drew me over because, I'll tell you what it is first. It's revenue share. But there's a reason for that. Again, I got into this business very young. I worked for a very smart person, a very big business mind, and I'll never forget it. I was 19 years old. I had my first coaching session. Imagine going over this in your first coaching session. I don't know why this was the topic. But the topic was basically there's 4 different quadrants of making money. You can be an employee where you show up somewhere and in exchange you get paid for that time. You can be self-employed where you get to manage your own time and manage your own money, and that may change for you on how much you can make. You can run a business, which allows you to make money outside of the hours that you're personally working and create a little bit of a residual income. And then there's investor, where you are doing nothing, but you're investing your money and it has a return on investment. So that stuck with me. And over the last 13 years, for sure, my husband and I have worked on having some investment properties. I think that would be kind of somewhere in between having your own company and investing your money, just because there still is things that we have to take care of as landlords. And sometimes that's pretty hectic. But to think that I was going to be able to not only work with more people, which I love sharing, I love gaining something, I love collaboration, I love throwing ideas out there and making them bigger and figuring out my path with that. So not only did I get to join an incredible organization of people where a lot of them were at, not a lot, but some were at my next step, which kind of helped me have those bigger conversations on, how do I get from here to there? But I get to invite other people into that environment, and I get to contribute to that environment. So revenue share, being able to actually make an income by introducing people into a company, and none of it's coming out of our pockets. It's coming out of eXp's split that we're paying to them anyways. And at any other brokerage, we're paying them a split anyways. So now we're able to earn money back on that when we welcome people to the company, and we can also cap. So it's way more agent focused, and the entire company is actually run by real estate agents. So it makes sense that there's very smart things in place. But the last reason for me is personal growth. So I've been to 2 of the major conferences now. And I left there absolutely mind blown. At other brokerages, I think I'm just one of those people that loves going to conferences anyway. So when I've been at certain brokerages that didn't have a conference, there was definitely something missing. I love going every year somewhere to like make my brain think bigger than where I'm existing. So I started going to like Grant Cardone's 10X conferences, and those ones are absolutely insane. And eXp's conferences are the closest thing that I've seen to that in anywhere in real estate. I've been to lots of different brokerages, conferences, or the coaching conferences that they put on, and this is totally different, and here's why. Normally when you go to a conference, you're going and there's people, like the owner of the company is speaking, or they'll get a couple people up on a panel to speak. When you go to eXp's conference, there's the main stage, which is full of top producing agents, and then there's all these breakout sessions, and people are telling you everything. You're able to live like ask your questions, they're answering them, they're not gatekeeping, and you're gaining so much that I am absolutely mind blown. And I feel like about this big when I come home, instead of feeling like you're, you know, one of the top producers in a marketplace where you live. Then you go away and you're like, oh, I'm only this big. People are building absolute empires, and it's not just real estate sales. That is the primary source of how people are making income, but a lot of people are turning this into a massive residual business, and it's super inspiring. I think the reason that that's like instilled in me as something that fuels me up is because I was a national level gymnast when I was younger. So it really does feel like when I would train all year, and my coach would always say, no matter what, there's always someone training harder than you. So you almost didn't know how other people were doing until you showed up in competition season. So bigger competitions like National or Elite Canada, you would go and you would see like who's been absolutely grinding all year and doing really well and who's placing. So it's kind of the same thing. Like everybody goes back, they work on their business, they show up, and the stuff that they're talking about, I'm like, like these guys are doing huge things, and I'm so happy to be in these rooms. So if you're wondering why I switched, the first two reasons were probably the reason why I switched, but the third reason is why I will never leave, because this is a place for me to grow and actually make plans for my life to be able to grow something bigger than just my little business, but to grow a company, get more people in place so I can have more balance in my life, so I have money to hire more people and actually run this like a company and have some sort of retirement plan for myself. So if you guys want to talk about eXp or how this might fit into your life, I would be so thrilled to talk to you about it. So click the button below to book a time with me, and we can chat about how this might fit into your life.